Okay, folks, Andy Breeder 1M here, and welcome to my channel. Being the genius that I am, I'm going to prove that I'm a genius by predicting 10 new inventions that are going to occur in the next 10, 20, or 30 years from now. The year is 2022, late 2022, and I am going to disclose to you what's going to happen. Number one, integrated social media platforms. So whilst there is natural, competition between YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, for example, these platforms will integrate, possibly by some very rich, wealthy magnate, and combine in their services. So what we can do on one platform, we can do on another platform, and it will be all the same. And things like multiple postings will become, well, commonplace or non-existent, as the case may be, because they won't be necessary anymore. If there is someone who is extremely rich, we will also have integration between digital TV and the internet, because at the moment there's a little bit of TV on the internet, but no, and I suppose vice versa as well, as far as I know. But they will become integrated, and we will lose a lot of advertising that we don't need, which is great. However, that advertising will become more advanced. So, for example, it will be more targeted towards you, and you have to respect the idea that you will lose a lot of your privacy by being part of the future world. There will also be a highly developed and refined database of knowledge, not only historical knowledge, but also factual knowledge. So things like physics, chemistry, technology, and science, that sort of thing, will become established in a database, and that will be accessible by generally everyone in the first world, and perhaps the second and third worlds as well. So, for example, ChatGPT, which is being trialed now. This sort of knowledge will become very systematized and easily accessible. And of course, we know about the Internet of Things, which is a system whereby everything in your house is being integrated as well, with, I think it's called Google Home and something like that, which I've never used, of course. This sort of thing will become commonplace and integrated with your lifestyle. And the rich people can afford it. They can go to Mars, they can go rockets off into space, have their private jet, that sort of thing. Other people will still have the most basic equipment, which will be the Internet of Things in their home. Such as, for example, a cleaner, washing machine, dryer, what else? Dishwasher maybe for some people. I don't use a dishwasher. TV, all this stuff will be integrated. So number 2 that I had on my list was super umbrellas to shade from the sun. Thanks to 1.5 meter distancing caused by the COVID pandemic, we have a precursor to wearing these super umbrellas on our head. So when we wear these huge umbrellas, we naturally can't stand next to someone else easily unless we kind of a different height or something. So super umbrellas will shade us from climate change, the sun, and allow us to go on with our daily lives. So the fashion will change. It will become commonplace to use umbrellas, as I do at the moment. And yeah, all good. But no one's going to be out there in the beaches and unless they have an umbrella with them. And certainly not without protection on the skin in some other way as well. Number 3 on my list is smartphone wire stands. I noticed that with my smartphone, it's very hard to prop it up with anything. And this was a recurring problem which I've had with my smartphone, which can be solved by human ingenuity. You have these wire things which can bend and put your smartphone in a particular position wherever you like it, really. There will also be different designs of smartphones, not just a flat one, but also things like Rubik's rings designs. So, you know, those magic rings where you flip them and they turn into rings interconnected. It will be the same thing with the design of a flip smartphone. Number 4 on my list today is designer human babies leading to humanoids by 2050. Human babies will, thankfully, become more pretty, more healthy genetically, and so on, and probably happier by design. And this will lead to more inventiveness, humanoids become invented, we all might have, I think I put further on my list things like having 3 eyes, having vision that is 270-degree vision, um, maybe an acute sense of smell, taste, things which will make us happier. I'm thinking that the DNA will be tweaked a lot because obviously there's a huge temptation to do that, even though there are laws against that. Some rich fool is going to experiment with that and cause humanoids to develop from a lab or something, just escape from a lab or something. It will probably be illegal at the time, but human rights will be overcome by human experimentation. And of course, the number five I've got on my list is one of the great loves of my life, which is music. Probably the greatest love of my life will become AI assisted, which will mean that 90% of the things that I do as a composer now will be filtered out by an AI robot or AI assistant. So I compose something which is really stupid or a repeat of what I did before, AI will filter that out and allow me to compose at a more efficient rate. Even though AI may not be able to compose something that is as brilliant as Mozart or Beethoven has done, and it may well do, but even if it doesn't, it will still allow me, the composer, to write things which are more profound, because I'm not wasting my time on things which are not worth thinking about. So of course, this will require an interface. This will mean that what you compose on the piano can automatically be rendered onto an electronic score. You can read the score, manipulate the score, edit it very quickly, and thereby compose some great music. So as I mentioned previously, the DNA humanoid project will be things like people with 3 eyes, 270-degree vision, a bigger heart, for example, better eyesight, that sort of thing. It will become commonplace by 2050. Number 7 is not quite so exciting. I have more integrated transport systems, so trains and buses will be integrated with each other to form a neatly webbed design. So it's happened with Metro in Brisbane, for example, which is almost a hybrid between a train and a bus. This thing will become commonplace and it will become more refined and more efficient. And hopefully the public address system will not annoy the hell out of me as the train ones are doing at the moment. Number 8 is not quite so brilliant either. It's a better white page search engine than Google is at the moment, with similar colors. Lots, LOL. A search engine will become easy to make. It'll become commonplace. It will lose its advertising and its corporate feel to it, and it will become just a search engine. Assuming, of course, that the capitalism will be destroyed by some great socialist. If that doesn't happen, then perhaps we will see a little bit more advertising than is usual. Number 9 I've got on my list is sex bots, and I'm really kind of enthusiastic about this because I've never had sex before. Sex bots used as a preference for an increasing proportion of the human population. So a lot of people have sex naturally, of course, and the genetic crapshoot and STDs and lack of contraceptives and unprotected sex, that sort of thing are all issues these days. But they will become less issues when sex bots take control of the arena. They will become preferential to having sex with other humans because they're more compatible. They have your personality type. They are easier to be more amenable to friendliness, that sort of thing, and better all-round companions. So something to look forward to for sure. So I have this prediction, which is 90% of the human population will have sex bots by 2040 and have them as a preference by that time. And finally, the military police. This is something that I'm scared of and I'm very apprehensive about, and I hate the police, that sort of thing. ACAB, all cops are bastards, that sort of thing. But seriously, military police will become a real thing because police will need to be economical, and once efficientized, they will use robots in the place of police officers, and even the police officers these days look like robots and they look so mechanized. So it's very scary, and I hope we never descend into warfare. I hope that if we do descend into warfare, it'll be very quick and very sudden and very kind of all detonating, but I don't think it will be. And I think that human life will live on. I think that many species will die and be endangered and extinct, and then we'll reproduce them and recreate them with DNA, and all will be well to a certain extent, in some ways, for 10 years, 15 years. Although some people will die off in that time and suffer the consequences of people's actions in 2022, of course, which I'm trying to minimise in my own life. But military police and robots will become commonplace by 2050, and that may cause a big war. But whether the war be a big nuclear one that will go out of hand and into chaos is a chance thing, which I'm happy to bet that it won't happen. There will be small wars, but if it does happen, the irony is that a larger war may be a better outcome for less suffering overall, for the billions and trillions of sentient beings that are suffering at the moment. So yeah, I've spoken for over 11 minutes now, and I guess in this video I should mention one thing which is very important, and that is major obstacles to the human psyche, in the human psyche, to these great inventions which I just mentioned. The major obstacle that I see in terms of, discussing my living modelling proposals to other people is what's known as complacency, because the truth is that what is available already will appear to be commonplace rather than a miracle. When we stop treating our inventions as miracles, we start treating them as commonplace, and we assume that what they're doing is okay, and that can give power to robots, literally, and it's not that they're going to become humans overnight, but that they're going to make us complacent. It's our fault that we feel weak, that we are weak and complacent, and not thinking about these problems in a very wondersome and lateral thinking sort of way. So as I wrote in my notes, people will assume things either exist or don't exist, and cannot imagine living with or without certain things. So we hear the phrase very often, in 2022, I just couldn't live without my smartphone. So when people say that, it scares me, because people don't understand the difference between living with and without something. And when they become complacent and live with something for such a long time, they don't know how to do without it. And that, my friends, is a huge danger for the future. Probably the biggest danger, technologically speaking, of anything that I can think of at the moment. So that's my take on the next 20, 50, 100 years. And I hope I live to see most of those changes, because I believe that as a progressivist, technology will be a very exciting thing for the future. Also very dangerous, very risky. It will cause a lot of people to suffer and die. But in the end, ultimately, we may well see a huge advance in the quality of life on this planet. All right, folks, see you next time, and have a nice day. Bye for now.